as somebody with Parkinson's, it's incredibly important to me to know that there's a team of committed, dedicated researchers that are in my community that are focused on helping people like me with Parkinson's disease to finding a way to better manage my condition, to hopefully find a cure for my condition, and best of all, hopefully prevent other people like my children from getting it.
Working with the University of Rochester, I learned what a unique community this is of dedicated individuals really trying to drive the science of just neuroscience in general and Parkinson's disease research forward.
When I was in first year grad school, my mother was diagnosed with terminal illness. And one of the symptoms she had was Parkinson's disease. I was fortunate to take 1 year off from school and spend it with her. And I have memories of giving her the medication and taking care of her, with the realization that access to care is really, really difficult.
I think one of the biggest challenges with Parkinson's disease research are the very tools that we use to measure Parkinson's disease and the progression of Parkinson's disease. Currently, the most common approaches use rating scales and questionnaires that can really only be administered in a clinic setting with a clinician, and this really can miss the bigger picture of what life with Parkinson's disease is like. So we're hoping that by using technologies that are both remote and can passively and objectively collect data, we can really have a better picture of what life with Parkinson's disease is actually like. And once we have that better picture of what life with Parkinson's disease is actually like, we can then focus on, okay, how can we make it better? How can we measure new therapies and how well they're working by how well they're actually improving people's lives?
As part of our Udall Center, we're trying to develop new objective measures of the disease so that rather than just having people tap their thumb and index finger in the clinic, we can measure them with objective measures, everything from smartphones to video cameras like this to home monitoring systems, so we can get objective measurements about people's disease and how it affects them, not just in the clinic, but they're in their home.
For Parkinson's disease, that started about 4 or 5 years ago when Dr. Rossi approached me, and he gave me this background about Parkinson's disease and his ambitious plan to use modern sensor technologies and AI to enable in-home, out-of-clinic care and treatment for Parkinson's disease.
What we're doing at centers like the University of Rochester is using really novel applications of technologies, such as a smartphone app or such as a simple sensor that adheres to your skin. And we're trying to collect data and really understand what life with Parkinson's disease is like.
I think that the digital health tools that we use can help empower people with Parkinson's by giving them greater insight in their Parkinson's and tracking their symptoms. So I think altogether, it's really just putting the participant at the center of our research and making sure that all of the research we're doing is both clinically meaningful and beneficial to the participant.
Our Udall Center in many ways is focused on enabling anyone, anywhere to receive the care that they need and to be able to participate in research. We've seen this mid-setting of the COVID-19 pandemic, the power of telemedicine, the power of using video conferencing like we're doing right now to bring care to patients. And we've been pioneering that since 2007. Since 2013, we've been using these same approaches and same technology to bring research studies to participants.
So these novel technologies and getting these big data sets allow us to understand at a more granular level what is impacting the quality of life. And that can allow us to figure out what we need to do to help you in your unique journey with Parkinson's disease.
I'm incredibly honored to be a part of the Udall Center in Rochester because it lets me take a proactive role in managing my Parkinson's disease and feel like I'm doing something positive for the community with people with Parkinson's. One of the hardest things about being diagnosed with Parkinson's is you feel there's no cure, so you feel there's a sense of non-control, loss of control over your life and situation. And being involved in research, taking part in research, being a part of the research team and part of the Udall Center means that I have some control over what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and the direction my life takes in terms of how I manage Parkinson's disease. That lets me feel close to and part of the research into helping manage the condition, manage the hopefully the search for a cure, and it lets me feel like and it makes me feel empowered in my journey with Parkinson's disease.
Imagine diabetes, but 50 years ago, where you have to come to a clinic to measure your blood sugar. So in Parkinson, we are actually in that segue where I think we're going to make a big step where it will become as manageable as diabetes, where anybody should be able to do this from home and manage their symptoms independently.